Hey everybody, this is John. It's about 6:30 in the morning in Alakanuk, Alaska. It won't be lighting again for another almost 5 hours. And we usually sleep till it's light, which is around 11:30. And it's in those early morning hours when things occur to you. And I'd like to say a couple things. First, I'd like to sing you a little song. It's by Bill Staines. There are bridges, bridges in the sky, they are shining in the sun. They are stone and steel and wood and wire, they can change two things to one. They are languages and letters, they are poetry and all. They are love and understanding, and they're better than a wall. I have gone through a lot of emotions over the last few days, 4 years. It's gotten more intense recently. January 6th, when they broke into my Capitol building in Washington, D.C., and they broke windows, and they had actions that ended in deaths. And they walked in there with twist ties, ready with apparently for a plan to kidnap some politicians and hang them. I was wondering things like, why did they not open fire on these people and destroy them? I was that angry. Why have they not machine gunned every one of them? And I've been watching a lot of Facebook, YouTube, like everybody else. I don't even get television here. And puzzling about how are we going to make it as a country when we're so divided. 75, whatever it was, million people who voted for Trump and who are now pissed off, and so pissed off that they are not, many of them, not willing to accept the fact that Trump has lost. Because I believe, he lied to them. He started telling them a couple months earlier that the only way he could lose is if it was rigged. So he has been telling people, it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged. So naturally, people are going to say it's rigged, despite the fact that there's no evidence in 60 court cases. The Supreme Court wouldn't even touch it. William Barr said there's no fraud, and still people are insisting there was fraud. And I have gone through a lot of soul searching about what to do, how to hold these people. And then I watched a video yesterday of this young man who had been in the Capitol, and he had sort of gone in there with the rest of them, and he was struggling with what he had done, and he had said, I felt like that was my Capitol. And he truly believes that injustice has been done. He believes that his country has been stolen. And there's nothing that I or anybody else can do to convince him otherwise, I think. But he was so honest. He was so straightforward. And he said, I guess what I did was wrong, but it's my country. and they were trying to steal it. And when no one will listen to you, what do? What can you do? So that young man had a wonderful heart. They went in there and they prayed. I mean, the guys who went in there and tore the place up, also, some of them were praying in there. Not everyone who went in there, most of the people, I think, I don't know, a good many of the people in there were probably like him and just kind of wanted to see what was going on and wanted to do something to save their country. And they have good hearts, and the only thing they're suffering from is disinformation. And as I have, and probably you have, been hearing, there is no way to argue someone into a new way of thinking. That's, argument and logic and data and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't do it. That's not the way. It's influence of other people. It's influence of your friends. Now, this fellow and many others who went into that Capitol building and tore up all that stuff, they're going to spend some time in jail. And some of them, the ones who were carrying twist ties and that type of thing. What is it? Zip ties to try to tie people up, and who obviously wanted to physically do some people some harm, maybe hang some politicians. Those people just need to be dealt with as saboteurs, murderers, potential murderers. They need to be dealt with by the law. And then from there on is sort of a continuum of of the seriousness of people's crime that went in there. Some of them just wanted to see what was going on. But they're going to spend some time in jail, and they should spend some time in jail. They broke the law. And when they come out, they're probably going to be more pissed than they ever were. They're going to be more radicalized than they ever were. And that huge swath of the population is still going to love Trump and still going to hate Democrats and hate liberals, because they've been trained to for 40 years? How many is it? That Fox News and Rush Limbaugh and all the rest of those assholes have been training them to not listen to their countrymen and women, training them to hate them, and the only way they can make their living is by making people angry, and that's a problem. I've been listening to Fox News and other, some of the guys that go on Parler and that type of thing on YouTube, and being fed a constant diet of that stuff. There's no way that that's going to be good for the country. But it's also not going to be good for the country for me to let my anger continue and continue to hate those people as badly as they hate me. There's the story of the sun and the wind, and they made a wager about who could make a man who's walking along the trail take his coat off. And the wind blew and blew and blew and blew, and the man just pulled his coat closer around him. But then the sun had its turn, and he gently beamed his warmth onto that man. And the man got comfortable, and he got warm, and he took his own coat off. I think there could be light at the end of the tunnel if we if we hit this thing with enough love, if I find that man that I described who broke in, who's going to be spending some time in jail, if I visit him in jail, if I listen to him, if I give him credit for loving his country, if I bake him a pie, if I'm kind to him in prison, he's much more likely to, if not, he may never see things my way, but at least we'll be friends, and at least we'll be countrymen and women who can be functioning Americans, functioning members of a democratic society, because the only way to do that is for people with different opinions to listen to each other and figure out a way. So my suggestion to my friends, my request, my idea, find someone who is a Trumpist. They are hurting, they are pissed off, they think that they've been cheated. Don't preach. Find a friend who thinks that way and go to them and just listen to their grievances. Don't try to teach them anything. Don't try to change them in any way. They have their way of seeing things, and they came through it through their own life experiences, just like you came to your beliefs through your life experiences. Just listen. Just love them. Love them. Bring them a gift. Find someone that you diametrically, you just can't stand them, because how could they possibly believe what they believe? And be kind to them. Be the sun. Shine the sun's warmth on them. Listen. And let's retrain this country to have the capacity to be democratic citizens. I'm just saying, and if you disagree, I don't know, go listen to somebody smarter than I am. Love everybody. You guys be safe.